Reporter, and I dedicate my time to searching for the stories that matter the most. But I'm tired of all the fairy tale lifestyles that people seem to be living on social media. Girl, you did not wake up like that. I'm interested in the genuine connections, the honest opinions, and the real uncut version of your true self. This show is about keeping it 100% real, deconstructing who we are and what we're all about. Join me as we sit down with individuals to discuss the personal struggles, the many challenges, and the moments that define us on this journey of self-discovery. Let's be real, life isn't fair and people make mistakes, but every opportunity is a learning experience. Let's discover the truth together right here. And everyone is ready to fresh this January. I feel like January is going to pass so quickly that we're going to blink our eyes and it's already going to be December again and we're going to be solid today. I wanted to make sure to do something different for the first show of the year because last week we had a really great conversation with Hugh about setting goals and resolutions for this year and also, just a reflection on the last year. So I kind of wanted to elaborate a little bit more on some of the reflections that I in on TCN Network. I hope you enjoyed Here to Help You that we had just before my show. And also, I also wanted to encourage you, if there are any real talk topics that you want me to cover in the coming year, please do send me a message. Send me an email. You can reach me at alyssa@carib101.com or you can send me an Instagram message, and I'd love to hear from you. So today, I'm going to be super honest. I'm kind of laying everything bare for you guys today. As you can see, if you haven't noticed yet, I'm not wearing any makeup today. And that is with a purpose. Reflecting back on 2018, and it was a year that I gained a lot of things, and I also lost some things. They weren't bad losses. They were actually for the better. But they were just things that weren't adding value to my life. So I realized that, and I was just like, do I really need this? No. And it was kind of like that budgeting, the budgeting show that we had the other day, where we talked about how there are things that we need, things that we want. And so I reflected on some of the things that I do for myself and then also for society. And I was like, what are some of the things that I do for myself and for society? And makeup was one of the things that kind of came to me first. And only because it's actually something that is very prevalent in my life. It's been in my life from since I was little. And the reason I started wearing makeup, I thought about the reason I started wearing makeup. And the reason I started wearing makeup was because in my teenage years, as many people have, I had a lot of adolescent acne. And I had acne from since the age of, I want to say it was 11 until I was 23, 24 years old. So I struggled with skin problems for my whole life. And I always remember that when I was in high school, I wanted to make sure that I always wanted to not have to wear makeup. But my skin was so terrible that I was like, no, man, you got to cover this up. You can't be walking around and having people see what your face looks like. And the only reason I was so self-conscious about that was because people always used to bring it up. And we talk a lot today about shaming people. We talk about shaming people online. We talk about shaming people in general. And you don't really find too much that you get shamed in person. You normally get shamed behind the message keys on a keyboard. So people don't shame you to your face, but they do it in a way that you kind of know, but you you don't want to address. You don't ever want to address. So I would go to get my eyebrows done, and I would, like, the ladies would obviously notice my skin because they would have to be like all up in my business, and they would be like, you know, you should try this for your skin. And it would immediately upset me because I'm just like, you don't think I know what my skin looks like? You don't think that I've been sitting here trying to figure out what I could do to make my skin look better? But I just had a really bad skin problem, and it was because I had cystic acne. There's like hormonal imbalances. There's so many things. I didn't drink enough water. I didn't eat well. So there were so many things that contributed to my bad acne, but nothing ever helped me. And I would try, like, I can tell you, I tried every single thing under the sun to try and help my skin issue, and I could not. I could not. And I was just like, at one point I finally just accepted it, and I was like, this is what my skin's gonna look like for the rest of my life. And it was sad for me, but I was also like, you know what? I could try and be optimistic about this, but I'm also really upset about it. And no one really my self-confidence really took a hit when it came to my skin, because I was just like, this is the first thing that people see. This is like my first impression of people. People aren't talking to me right away. People are kind of looking at me outwardly before they decide that they're going to approach me. And it's the same thing like with girls that have RBF. Like, you're not going to approach this girl because you're like, yo, she might hit me. So, same kind of thing. I was in high school, so I'm like deciding what I want to do with my life and my career. And when the idea came up to do journalism, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be a writer. I'm going to be someone who's always going to be behind the scenes and never in front of the camera, because I'm like, not with this skin issue. We can't be in front of the camera. Also, I didn't have a lot of self-confidence to begin with, so I was just like, no, anything I can do to stay out of sight is probably what I would like to do. So I spent a lot of time doing that, and then going into my university years, still had the really, really bad skin problems and could do nothing to help me. So the reason I bring it up is because outwardly we try and tell people that they should be more natural. A lot of people we're kind of harping on this now on social media, where it's like, you should wear your natural hair and you should wear your bare face and your bare skin. But a lot of it is very filtered, and I was not okay with that, because I was like, yeah, but it's the same reason that when you turn on the TV and you see a commercial for skincare products and the girl has clearer skin than you do. What are we doing? What are we doing? You need to find a girl who actually has acne to advertise acne products. And that was something that I also noticed while I was in high school, while I was dealing with these things, because I would always tell my mom, I would always be like, Mom, this girl who's advertising for Proactive doesn't have any acne, and she never had any acne, so how is it that she can advertise for this product? I was like, they need to get someone like with a face like mine, because that's just the reality of the situation. I wanted to talk a little bit today about, people, how society sees you, how you present yourself to the world, and also, things that we can do or realistic ways that we can become happier and more chill, I find, in 2019, because I think that's what our goals should be long term. So, when I was talking about wearing makeup and doing things like this, I wanted to not wear makeup today on the show, because I wanted you guys to kind of really see me for who I am and what I'm bringing to the show. And the show is called Real Talk, so I was like, we shouldn't wear makeup today. Also, I'm doing the show by myself, so I don't feel as conscious about it, because normally I have a guest, and I do it because of the nature of my job, because of professionalism, things like that. I normally do wear makeup. And when you see women on TV, when you see women in fashion shows, when you see anything that is broadcasted live or broadcasted or produced in a professional environment, people look very manicured, very well manicured, and well made up. So today I wanted to keep it very real for you guys and kind of share some of those things with you in regards to living in the world today and in 2019. And I feel like if we're going into 2019 thinking that we can still scroll through social media and not feel any ways about it, then we need to do some introspection into our lives. So, looking back on 2019, or 2018, sorry, not 2019, see, I'm already ahead of myself. 2018, there was a photo that Julia Roberts actually posted. She was wearing no makeup, and Julia Roberts has been in a movie literally called Pretty Woman. And she was wearing no makeup in this picture, and people roasted her. People were just like, Julia Roberts looks so old, and this and next. And literally, she was just chilling at home with her family. And people were just like, oh my god, look at Julia Roberts, look how old she looks now, and just like shaming the woman. And you know, she felt ways about it. She actually spoke about it in an interview, saying how she felt so self-conscious about it because she thought nothing of the photo. This is how she lives naturally when she's at home. She's bumming around, she's wearing comfy clothes, she's not wearing any makeup, her hair is in a bun, it's all messy. And because that's in your most natural, most comfortable state. Think about how you live when you're at home. Do you dress up to the nines and then sit on your couch? No, because that's not how people live their lives. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on this and also offer some more ways that you can be the real you in 2019. So we'll be right back.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Welcome back, and you're watching Real Talk. I'm your host, Alyssa Mahadeo, guys. We're having a really great show today. I didn't really script too much of this show because I was just like, how can I be the most authentic version of myself? And I can see myself in the camera behind Anisha, and I'm just like, you look exhausted. So, but that's what I look like without any makeup on, and that's what most women look like without any makeup on. When you scroll through social media, the most annoying thing for me to see is these makeup artists. They don't wear any makeup in the beginning of the video, and then they glam themselves up to like 10. And I'm just like, yeah, but do you know how long that actually takes? Because in the mornings before my show, I however I need to. And then in the morning, I make sure and bring my makeup bag to work with me so that I can do my makeup before the show. And also that I can take my time and do my makeup before the show, because it takes me at least a half an hour. I'm not gonna lie. It takes me at least a half an hour. Sometimes, depending on, you know, how elaborate the look is going to look, 45 minutes to do my makeup. And I'm not ashamed to say that because it takes a while. You think I just wake up looking like this? No, this is what I actually wake up looking like. This probably took 15 minutes this morning because I didn't put effort in fixing my hair. I didn't put effort in putting on makeup. And Anisha was telling me before, during the break, a lot of people meet me and they see this outward appearance of Alyssa. She's well put together. She's got her face on. She's got her shit together. She's got everything going on for her, so you can't mess with her. And I'm just like, yeah, because that's kind of how I have to navigate myself in this world. If I don't put that on, then I don't have confidence in myself. And I've always seen makeup as a sort of a mask to do that. It's actually allowed me to create this persona because of I put on a mask every day when I come to work, or when I go out to an event, or when I do anything in life. And I put on makeup, and I'm very conscious of, actually the last year I've been very conscious of when I put on makeup, how it makes me feel. And when I'm not wearing makeup and I'm just wearing comfy clothes, how that makes me feel. And I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I feel 100% more comfortable in my jammies at home wearing comfy clothes with no makeup. Do you know? Do you know what it's like to be able to like wipe your face and not have half of it go with your hand, or rub your eyes and not have your makeup smudge? Do you know what that's like? No, you can't know what that's like because you're always wearing makeup. And people always talk about at the end of the day how their favorite things to do, or the best thing for them to do, is to take off their makeup or to change their clothes and wear something more comfortable. And it's just because that's how you feel most comfortable, right? And I'm not saying that makeup is a bad thing, because I love makeup. When I started wearing makeup, I was like, this is the best thing ever. And it was because of what it did for me. Covered up all of my flaws and imperfections, and I didn't have to deal with them. And it's only in the last couple years where I've just like, hey, you got to deal with all of that stuff now that you didn't want to deal with back then, because now you're more woke. You've heard more things. You've learned more things about life, and you've realized that life isn't just about material things and aesthetics and superficialness. That's not even a word. But the superficial world that we live in, that's promoted through social media. So, I mean, I've done so many things. I've been a model. I've been in pageants. I've been doing this show for almost 2 years now. And people have seen me kind of grow into this person who is very confident, who is very, again, put together, who's very always on point all the time. And the truth of the matter is that people aren't always like that. So, I'm here to tell you I'm really here to spill the tea. That's actually all I'm here to do today. But one of the ways that we can work towards living a more realistic and happier and chill life in 2019 is to find your true self, to find who you are when you're the most comfortable. Realize what you love. Ask yourself, what is it that makes me 100% happy? Like, what can't I live without that is going to make me happier? I see so many people dealing with mental health issues, so many people dealing with self-confidence issues, so many people dealing with so many different things, but it's because they haven't focused on themselves. They haven't focused on the things that they need because they're too busy pleasing other people or pleasing everyone else around them or trying to live up to the unrealistic standards of society. So, focusing on the things that you love will inspire you. It'll inspire your heart, inspire your soul, and it'll also allow you to gain more insight into what you want to do long term. I always hear about people now when they reach their 30s and 40s, and there's nothing wrong with it, but 30s and 40s, and they're now finding what their true passion was. I've had a lot of conversations, a lot of interviews over the last year, and a lot, even the last couple days, where people tell me about the things that they wanted to do, but they didn't end up doing because they felt that they needed to act a certain way or behave a certain way or make someone else happy. And that's not cool. Another way that we can work towards, again, living a more happier and realistic and chill life in 2019 is acknowledging our accomplishments. So, for a long time, I didn't ever think that I was good enough to be a writer. And that's so hard to actually even, like, say to you guys, because you were like, this girl's full of it. She has been writing for 4 years now for this newspaper, and how can she say that she can't be a writer, or she wasn't good enough to be a writer? And I mean, I still struggle with this today, because if I've read some things and I've read some stories, and I've been inspired by so many authors, and I'm just like, wow, I want to write like this one day. Because again, as a writer, you continuously are inspired by the work that you see around you, by the ideas that are put out to the world, by your own perspective on the world, and that really changes the way that you write. So I've always wanted to, my goals for the last, like, I want to say like 5-10 years has been to write a book. And I interview so many people who have written books, and where's my book? Haven't written one yet, because again, I hold myself back. I tell myself that this book is not good enough, or I always come up with more ideas than I know what to do with, and then I don't know how to condense those ideas into one single idea. So those are things that I struggle with, but working towards them in 2019, hopefully Alyssa will write a book, and the idea is refining itself. It is. It's coming to fruition. Don't worry. It'll happen eventually. And I always tell myself that it'll happen eventually, but the answer is when? When will I make it happen? But that's just something that you would ask yourself. That's something that I ask myself, and that's something that I've reflected on in the last year. Also, acknowledge the things that you've accomplished. So the things that you've actually done and that you've seen, so that you can see what you've done, how far you've come. Anisha can tell you today that when she started doing the show, I've never done the show by myself. I've only done it like once or twice by myself, but doing the show by myself is like the most anxiety-inducing thing that I could do for myself on a Friday. Because Friday is usually like a chill day. You're supposed to like relax and go home and unwind and, you know, spend time with doing things that you want to do to take care of yourself. But I'm like, no, look, let's throw some anxiety in there for Friday and do the show by yourself. But I'm very proud of myself for being able to do the show by myself. Not only do the show by myself, but also do the show without any makeup on. So, like, those are two huge accomplishments for today's show. And I need everyone to understand that. And it's not to prove anything to anybody. It's just to prove to myself that it's fine. It's not a big deal. Because you go around in your life, you think about this, that, and the next, and everything becomes a bigger deal than it needs to be. I always remember growing up that a lot of the things that I did was, it was, how is it going to look to society? How is it going to look to other people? How is it going to look to the rest of my family? And the answer is, what does it even matter? Because I'm out here living my life. They're not living it for me. And that's the tea for today. I feel like we should be done right now. We're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit more about, again, reflecting on the last year, and moving forward into the new year, and things that you can work towards to help you find happiness in 2019. So we'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Anisha, and I'm the production manager of TCN Network. Have you ever wanted to host your own show? Do you have a message to share? Well, you're in luck. We are looking for dynamic and unique individuals to host their own shows. We are seeking people who are committed, motivated, and energetic. Do you want to be the next Jimmy Fallon, Ellen DeGeneres, or Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved? Start here. Fill out the Propose a Show form on mytcntv.com. We're here to educate, support, and build the community. Can you lead by example? Go the extra mile and seek knowledge? Are you humble, disciplined, responsible, selfless, and enthusiastic? Those are our core values. And if you identify with them, you could be part of a growing network that focuses on positivity and uplifting our community. We can't wait for you to join us on TCN Network and hope to hear from you soon.
Welcome back. You're watching Real Talk, and she told me we were coming in, and I totally wasn't paying attention. I was trying to think about what next thought. But, guys, this is why Real Talk has come to fruition. I remember when Grant first came to me, and he was like, can you think of a name for the show? And I'm like, sorry, what? I was like, first of all, I didn't even want to do the show. Second of all, you want me to come up with a name for the show that I didn't want to do? But then I thought about who I was as a person, and kind of, I'm trying to remember who I was before the show started. The show has kind of allowed me a platform to vocalize a lot of the thoughts that I have. And I don't actively use it enough. I feel like there's a lot of things that I could say, but I always hold back because, again, I worry a lot about what people might say or think of me. And in 2019, I'm looking to do less of that because does anyone really care these days? Before the show, I was wondering if anyone would ask me if why I wasn't wearing my makeup. No one did, because no one cares. Because people are like, this is living her life, let her do her. And I'm really glad that no one called me out, because I wasn't sure how I was going to answer. I was going to be like, this is just what I do. This is what I look like natural. So, it's a very small thing. People are probably like, why is this girl making such a big deal out of the fact that she didn't wear makeup today? And I'm like, this is a very huge thing for me. This is something that I always talk about doing, but I never actually actively do. So me doing it today is actually like proving to myself that you can do it. And Anisha brought up a really good point to me, but she told me about how intimidating I seem most times, and I know that it's because I'm aggressive. And I was talking about this because I've always heard this saying where it's be aggressive, but don't be too aggressive. And this is something that resonates the most with me because this is me. This is actually my personality. I'm not usually this aggressive. I'm only this aggressive when it's because I need to prove something to myself. I don't actively look to prove things to other people because I'm like, man, I don't need to prove anything to them because I don't owe them anything. But I owe something to myself because I owe something to my true potential. And that's where it comes to really kind of sitting down and reflecting on who you are as a person and what your purpose is in life. And I talked to a lot of people again this week, even about discovering what their true passion and their true purpose is. And it's the insight that you get from your day-to-day interactions, the insight that you get from things that you read, the education that you have, things like that kind of really define who you are as a person and also kind of what kind of image you want to portray. So when they say be aggressive, but don't be too aggressive, this normally goes to women. I've noticed that it's been told to women a lot because they're just like, oh, you're gonna be that aggressive lady who's always doing things and who's unapproachable by other people. And I'm like, I don't think that I'm unapproachable, but I think I am aggressive. I will say that. I will admit that I am aggressive. And it's not without cause. And I'm here to tell you that today that I'm not aggressive without cause. I'm aggressive because I have to be aggressive for myself, because if I don't, my self-confidence will hold me back. And my natural introverted self will hold me back. And that's why I work to be more aggressive than normal. I also mean well most times. By being aggressive, I mean well. I always see the potential that people have, and I see this with my family, I see this with my friends, I see the potential in a lot of things, and I always want it to be, like, the best, and if I can, commit my time to helping it be the best, then I will. But I'm also very an impatient person, so that's where the aggressive nature comes in. And this whole idea of not being too aggressive, I mean, it is what it is. Let's be honest for a minute, where you can't. Everyone has their different ways of pushing themselves, and mine is to be aggressive, and that's probably the Aries in me. Let's be honest. But I always want to, again, look for ways to push myself, to get myself out of my comfort zone, because if I don't, there are very little people that actually point out to me what my comfort zones are. I know where they are because I sit in them all day. So I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that. But then if I really sit down and I consider something, I end up doing it, and it always ends up turning out better than I thought it would. So in looking towards 2019 and discovering your true purpose, really sit down and make a list of everything that you would like to do, you would say, or you would go. And they can be little things. Little things, again, like not wearing any makeup on a show. I watch all these show hosts every day. I watch the Victoria's Secret fashion show, and I was looking at the unrealistic nature of the models and the makeups that they were wearing and their hair, and I was like, mostly extensions. They go to their workout routine is ridiculous. Like, I'm telling you, they literally prepare for 6 months to go to be in that show and to be that fit. And so when people look at their body image and like, oh my god, I will never look like a Victoria's Secret model. It's not that you won't. It's that you're not training like a Victoria's Secret model to become one. That's all it is. Also, this idea of representation, which has become a really big conversation in 2019 or 2018, and just representing for yourself. I hate to ask the question, what is it like for you to achieve something as a woman of color? And I'm like, but you're a woman of color and you've been achieving things. Why does it matter that your skin is brown or that your skin is black or that your skin is white or that you're Asian? Like, why does it matter? And that whole idea surrounding this color and the color of our skin and how it makes us less than the people around us, and it makes us less than people with a fairer complexion. Like, guys, can we just take a step back and not do that anymore? Because it's ridiculous. So another thing is removing the red tape from your life. So a lot of things, again, like I said, we hold ourselves back. We spend a lot of time holding ourselves back. If you think about all the things that you want to accomplish and why you haven't accomplished it yet, it's because you're holding yourself back. That's literally all it comes down to. Because no one is actively stopping you from doing things. It might, maybe your station in life, or maybe your position at your job, or maybe finances. Those are things that, kind of make sense because you haven't been actively able to invest the time in enabling you to reach those goals. But it's not that anyone's holding you back. No one can actually hold you back from achieving your goals. So getting rid of questions like, what if I fail? What if I don't like it? What if I make no money doing it? Instead, just take new action and try new things. Anisha was just telling me how she got a whole email from Google telling her about all the places that she's been. And I'm sure that she didn't think that she did a lot in 2018. It was actually put into perspective for her. And she was like, wow, I've done a lot more traveling than I thought. And we talk about it all the time. We're like, I wish I could travel more, and I wish that I could go and see the islands, and I'm like, but y'all haven't even seen your own backyard yet. There's so much to see in Ontario itself. I went to Lindsay. Like, people were just like, you went to Lindsay? What's in Lindsay? And I'm like, listen, I was on vacation. I was unplugged. I wasn't unplugged, but I wasn't here in the city that I'm accustomed to. I wasn't around a whole bunch of people. I wasn't like actively having to, again, put on this person who's always on. And that was just my way of, it was traveling, but I've never really been to Lindsay, and I would have never gone to Lindsay otherwise. Let's be honest. Places like Tobermory. Tobermory is another place that, again, it's beautiful, and we've only been really exposed to it because of articles online. People are talking about, there's always those secret places in Ontario that we have yet to discover. And I'm like, those articles intrigue me because I'm like, yo, there really are a lot of secret places in Ontario that I have to discover. So I should probably, get on that and just actively plan those trips for the new year. Don't struggle to find the one purpose in life. So a lot of people think that they have only one purpose to fulfill in this life, and the truth is that everyone has more than one purpose. Everyone has different passions. Everyone has multiple passions. Everyone has a lot of things that they want to excel at, but no one can really claim to be good at only one thing. A lot of people are good at multiple things. And it can be something like, again, you could be good at writing, you could be good at drawing, you could be good at video editing, you could be a good parent, you could be a good sister, there's so many different things, and it's just find what you're good at. That's your purpose. Again, there's never a point in your life where you ever think that you're not good enough, or that you should only have one thing that you can claim your fame to. So we're going to take another quick break, and when we're done, we're going to wrap up this conversation, and hopefully we've gained something here today and we've learned something about each other. So we'll be right back.
Welcome to Shadow Auto.
Welcome back. You're watching Real Talk, and I'm your host, Alyssa Mahadeo. Guys, thank you again for joining us today. And I want to take a minute to send a special shout out to my grandma. My grandma is she's in Trinidad right now, and my grandma actually has, she suffers from dementia and Alzheimer's. And my mom is currently down there in Trinidad. She's helping, she went to go spend some time with her, and it's very difficult to see someone who's suffering from this type of disease, and it kind of brings really into perspective the memories that you make in your life, and what happens when you can no longer remember them. This was something that I've noticed a lot more people are doing because it's become trendy, but a lot more people are journaling, and a lot more people are keeping planners, and a lot more people are and I remember when we were in school and they used to give us an agenda and no one used to use it. Like, does anyone remember those days? Because I actively remember when people used to just like lose their agendas, and we would have to pay money, and people were like, I'm not trying to pay for this agenda, I don't need this, because I obviously don't need to plan out my life or write down my homework. But I noticed a lot more people now are actually keeping journals, and I always think back of I've actively kept a journal just because I'm a writer. But I remember back in the history, a lot of the history that we know has come from diaries that people have written. So people who have lived through, war and famine and genocide have kept diaries if they were able to, just to remember what it was like or what it felt like to live during those times. And I always say, like, people in my family, I wish that they would have kept more diaries, because there's a lot of questions that I have about past generations and things that, my great-grandfather would have known, and things like that. And I always wonder about whether or not we would just have so much more information and a lot more pieces to puzzles if we were able to read about the past. It's just like in a book. Why would you read a really good book over and over again, right? So today, when I talk about writing journals, I don't want to I don't want to make it sound like, oh my god, it's a trend, so you should get on it. It's just something that you should consider, because when you write things down, it helps you to organize your life, it helps you organize your thoughts. It also allows, you're leaving something, think about it, you leave something for the next generation by writing in a diary, by writing about your experiences, about working through everything that you're dealing with right now. So I do have a couple of ways that people can utilize to become a happier and more chill person in 2019. And I think the first one is like the most important. It's not anything, groundbreaking, but take a news break. Take a news break. And what does that mean? Stop watching the news. Literally, stop watching the news, because the news is a hot mess. And I talk about that from a media personality perspective, because I see the news, I have to follow the news for certain things. A lot of times people will tell me, oh my god, did you hear about this thing? And I'm like, no. But I'm just like, it's because I wasn't on Twitter, because it was, Twitter breaks news first these days, guys. So if you want the news, just read it on Twitter. But don't watch the news, because these guys out here, the news will make you upset. It'll disturb your mental health, and it will just, add to the chaos that you might already have in your life. So take some news breaks. Say no. How many people don't say no? I don't say no to a lot of things. I realize that there are certain things that I should dedicate my time to, and certain things that I don't need to dedicate my time to, because it can be delegated, or other people should be able to do it. And if I could take responsibility, so can they. That's how I feel. Use social media to your advantage. Now, I mean, we could go on talking about social media for like a whole 2 other segments, but I'll try and keep it short. Take a social media detox. Delete your Facebook, or deactivate your Facebook account. Deactivate your Instagram. I don't know can you deactivate your Instagram? Yeah? So deactivate your social media for a month or a couple weeks, or just not be on it. I tell people on the regular that I wish that I did not have to be on Facebook. And people are like, "Oh, why don't you just not be on Facebook?" And I'm like, "It's not that easy. It's not easy to just drop social media altogether because of the nature of my job. I'm always on social media, but I could use it less. And what I mean by using it less is just like not mindlessly scrolling through Facebook or not mindlessly scrolling through Instagram feeds and just doing it purposefully. So going in when I need to and getting off when I have to because we just don't need to be investing that much time. The usage. So you can actually actively see in numbers what the usage is on your social media. So you don't have to be there. You don't really have to be there. You choose to be there. And the point is that you could use a detox. We don't need to share every aspect of our lives. There's some parts that we can keep private and that we don't have to share, and that we don't have to share every groundbreaking, accomplishment or every struggle that we're going through. Sometimes we can talk to people who are closest to us and have them listen to our problems. Get active. So, Anisha, how many times did it say you went to LA Fitness last year? Anisha's Google told her that she went to LA Fitness 8 times last year, which I find hilarious. It's January, so everyone's mind is on, I need to get into the gym, and I need to get fit, and I need to get, for the new year. And I'm just like, maybe. And I'm still trying to decide what the best way is to get active and do it in a way that I'm going to feel comfortable with. I've realized that the gym is really not for me. I hate the gym. I hate the gym so much. But I enjoy dance. I enjoy, like, Zumba. I enjoy, like, yoga. So, like, those are different avenues of fitness that I could get back into and I will revisit. But, we're trying to get our shit together. It's January. So, like, people need, like, 5 minutes. People are recovering from Christmas break. I know y'all ate all the food and drank all the drinks. So, people are still in, like, recovery mode, I find. And I feel like the world won't actually move into motion until, like, next week when you'll hear, I don't know. We need to do, like, a study where someone goes to the gym and just to see how many people are at the gym right now. Because I've seen so many resolutions actually come up on my social media feed about people who are like, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds, and I'm like, good for you. So another one is spending money on experiences. So we spend money on so many things, and we did talk about this on the budgeting show where we were discussing a little bit about our needs versus our wants. But spend more money on experiences. A lot of people spend money behind, new clothes. I've seen there's a new challenge going around where actually Nikita from the Ramptonist set out this challenge where she challenged everyone, if you wanted to be a part of the challenge, to not buy any new clothes for a whole year. And I was like, well, let's think about this realistically. Think about, first of all, if you are most like I feel like guys could probably do this challenge better than women could, because women just always we like clothes, we like new things, we like to always look a new way when we go out to a new function, because this is our, like, livelihood. We're only gonna look like this for so long. So when we go out, we're looking to spend money on new clothes, new jewelry, new things like that, new accessories. And we don't need to. What if we save that money and we put it towards a trip? Right? Y'all want to travel, so this is one of those ways. Or just save it. Save it for a rainy day. Make a goal rather than a resolution. So, see my previous show, the one that I did with Hugh, about setting smarter goals instead of resolutions for New Year's. So don't resolve to do something, actually do it. Set an active goal, set a timeline, set it up for success. Set yourself up from the beginning for success. Set boundaries. I think this is really important, and I think I'm probably going to end on this one. But set boundaries for yourself. Set boundaries for the people around you, and let them know what you need in your life so that you can actively be a better person. Because, we all have our good days and we all have our bad days. And some of us have more bad days than good days. And that's just how it is. So sometimes you need to set those boundaries, and you need to remember that you have to take care of yourself. I've actually told all of my friends this for the next year, that y'all need to take care of yourselves, and I'm just going to reinforce it here on the show if you guys watch. But take care of yourselves, and also, stop trying to, number one, please everyone, and stop trying to make things happen that just aren't going to happen. Always remember, trash. That's what I'm going to say. Trash. So get that out of your life. You don't need it. I hope that everyone maybe learned something here today. Maybe learned something about me here today. Again, I hope to share more shows like this. I hope to have more shows like this where I get to share a little bit more of myself. I will actively try to do it more on social media because I don't do it right now. But that's just because it's not my personality. It's not my personality to be able here sharing everything. I mean, sometimes things happen in my life and I don't want anyone to know about it. That's just how I live my life. So, guys, thank you again for joining us on another edition of Real Talk. I will be back again next week, and have a great January. Plan for success.